So without album covers, we're nothing. But what if they were designed differently? What if your favorite album covers were designed 10, 20, or 50 years ago? Well, today we're gonna find out. Join us on a visual journey through the decades of vinyl record album cover art, exploring the trends that shape the aesthetics of music. The album cover became a canvas for the most outlandish and imaginative concepts. Musicians collaborated with visual artists to create pieces that were as epic as the music they accompanied. The result, masterpieces like the Smiley Face era, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, and the legendary Led Zeppelin album covers. Nirvana's Nevermind album cover, with its iconic baby swimming underwater, was both shocking and relatable. But vinyl made a remarkable comeback, and so did the album cover, albeit in a more compact format. It may seem like a throwback, but modern album art is anything but. Many designers approach this challenge by first immersing themselves in the music, understanding the emotions and themes it evokes. Perhaps virtual reality will influence a new wave of immersive album artwork, or artificial intelligence will create entirely new artistic movements. It's more than just a pretty picture. It's a conversation starter, a collectible item, and a way for artists to connect with their audience. So the next time you pick up a vinyl record, take a moment to appreciate the artwork. It's not just an album cover, it's a piece of art. They then incorporate these elements into the artwork using color, composition, and typography to create a cohesive visual identity. For instance, the recent surge in popularity of vinyl has led to a growing demand for unique and eye-catching album covers that stand out on the shelves. This has resulted in a resurgence of creative and innovative album cover designs that pay homage to the classic album art of the past while incorporating modern design trends. It's a vibrant mix of influences from across the decades with a heavy dose of nostalgia. There's a renewed interest in retro-inspired designs and vintage aesthetics. Artists are experimenting with different printing techniques and incorporating natural textures and imperfections. Album covers have become collectible items once again. It marked a departure from the polished perfection of the 80s and ushered in a more raw, grungy aesthetic. With the advent of computers, digital art became more accessible, and independent artists started creating their own album covers. It was a DIY revolution, and the result was a flood of unique, sometimes bizarre, yet always intriguing visuals. This was a time when album art was not just an afterthought, it was an experience. Let's start off by turning back the clock to the swinging 60s. It was a time of cultural upheaval and the birth of the counterculture movement. Some notable examples include the minimalist line drawings of Bon Iver's 22, A Million, or the otherworldly landscapes of Tame Impala's Currents. These covers don't just accompany the music, they enhance it, adding another layer to the artist's creative expression. This era gave rise to a new kind of visual art, one that rejected the traditional and embraced the psychedelic. Artists like Peter Max and Stanley Mouse created album covers that were literally a trip. Think swirling colors, melting clocks, and imagery that defied gravity. New wave and synth pop dominated the charts, and album covers reflected the futuristic sounds. Think geometric shapes, vibrant colors, and a whole lot of white space. It was an era where album art became increasingly conceptual, and bands like Duran Duran and Depeche Mode pushed the boundaries of what a record sleeve could be. This was the golden age of psychedelic art, and it didn't end with the 60s. It flowed seamlessly into the 70s. The 70s were all about excess and experimentation, but as the saying goes, after the rain comes the sunshine. And in the late 70s, a new trend emerged, the minimalist revolution. No more elaborate graphics or surreal landscapes. This movement was a reaction to the excesses of the previous decade. It was the time when punk rock exploded onto the scene, and album art became a tool for rebellion. Bands like the Sex Pistols and The Clash chose stark imagery and simple typography, making a bold statement with just a few well-chosen words. Album covers became a form of protest, a visual shout to the establishment. As we turn the page to the 80s, we find ourselves in a decade of bold experimentation. The 90s saw the rise of grunge and the shift towards the digital age. The dawn of the 21st century brought with it the streaming revolution. Today, many artists view their album artwork as an extension of their music, a visual representation of the sonic experience. But how does one stay true to an artist's vision while also keeping up with current trends? As the world of music continues to evolve, so too will the art that adorns its albums. Who knows what the future holds? Hey, thanks for watching.